And hopefully you can see that. If there's questions that come up as I'm going through this, just interrupt me. Just unmute your mic and interrupt me. I'm just going through 2 of each type here. So let's see. Let's start from the start. So this is the last thing we're going to learn this unit. And then I'll do a review tomorrow if people show up. And then the test is on Thursday, and it's just the same format as last time. So if we're given this equation, we have some like x squared up here, and this is a linear function. We have to solve this. The only way to solve it when it's this form is substitution. Okay, there's nothing that we can eliminate here. Well, I guess you could eliminate y's in this one, but for the most part, whenever there's an x squared or a y squared and we don't have any squared terms, you have to use substitution. So here, I'm just going to solve that bottom equation for x or y. I solved it for x. So I'm going to subtract the y over, and I'm going to subtract the 4 over. Now, once we get this, we need to plug it into the top equation. And you could have solved this for y and plugged that in, but I just decided to do x. So then that's going to be 2. Wherever there's an x, this is replacing it. So negative y minus 4. And then squared plus 9 times negative y minus 4 plus y plus 10 equals 0. Whenever you have this squared part right here, you have to actually square it out. Okay, and you can use the box or you could use distribution. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to use distribution. So negative y times negative y is y squared. Negative y times negative 4 is positive 4y. Negative 4 times negative y is positive 4y. And negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Those 4y's combine to give you 8y. So then that is what's going to replace this right there. Then it looks like we have some things that we can distribute. So this is just solving equations now. So we can distribute that. That's going to be 2y squared plus 16y plus 32. And then 9 times negative y is negative 9y. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36 plus y plus 10 equals 0. Just combine all of the like terms. So we have 2y squared, and then 16, 9, and y will combine to give you 8y. And then 32 and negative 36 and 10 will combine to give you 6. We can divide all of this by 2, since we have that 2 leading, and they're all divisible by 2. So we're left with y squared plus 4y plus 3 equals 0. Okay, this is where factoring comes in. So we've factored before. We've learned how to solve by factoring. So if you factor this, you can make an x, and I didn't do it on this PowerPoint, but it would be multiplying to be 3, adding to be 4, which is going to be 3 and 1. So this is going to be y plus 3 and y plus 1, which then that's going to be y plus 3 equals 0, y plus 1 equals 0. So from this one, we get y equals negative 3. From this one, we get y equals negative 1. Okay, and then once we have these, I can plug them back into this equation right here. And I would always use this one. If you plug it into this top equation, you're going to have to factor again. So let's plug it into that bottom one. So first I'm going to plug in negative 3. So I get 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. So that means the negative 3 and the negative 1 have to go together. So one of our answers, x is negative 1, y is negative 3. Do the same thing, plug in negative 1. Negative negative 1 is positive 1. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So our other answer is negative 3, negative 1. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay, let's do this one. So same thing, we have to solve that bottom equation for either x or y. This one's definitely easier to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract the 2x and subtract the 1. Now, once you get this, we're going to plug it into the top equation wherever there is a y, because we solved it for y. So then this is going to be 2x squared plus negative 2x minus 1 squared plus 18x minus, that's supposed to be green right there, but negative 2x minus 1 minus 2 equals 0. All that was supposed to be black, but whatever. So the first thing, I would square this part. Always square first. If you remember back to order of operations, parentheses, then exponents. So always square first. So that's going to be negative 2x minus 1, negative 2x minus 1. Distribute this. So negative 2x times negative 2x is 4x squared. Negative 2x times negative 1 is 2x. Same thing here, that's 2x. That's 1. If you struggle with this, just use the box. But then 2x plus 2x is 4x. So that's going to be 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. So then this becomes 2x squared plus 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 plus 18x minus negative 2x minus 1 minus 2. Finish. We don't have to distribute anything here. We do have to distribute this negative. So you can think about that as a negative 1 if you need to. So then this all stays the same. This becomes a negative times a negative is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. And then we can combine like terms. So 2x squared and 4x squared is 6x squared. 4x, 18x, and 2x is 24x. And then 1 minus 2 is 0, so that's just gone. Then to factor this, we take out a GCF. So we see what goes into 6x squared and 24x. Well, I can factor out a 6x. So I'm left with 6x and x plus 4. So that means we set 6x equal to 0 and x plus 4 equal to 0. For this part, you would just divide by 6. Well, 0 divided by anything is 0, so we have x equals 0. Here I subtract the 4 over, so I get x equals negative 4. And then we just take these and plug them into this equation. These are kind of long and tedious, but if you keep yourself organized, you'll be fine. So plug it in up here. So that's going to be y equals negative 2x minus 1. Plug that 0 in. So that's going to be y equals negative 1. So one of our answers is 0, negative 1. The other one, we plug in negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. Minus 1 is 7. So our other answer is negative 4, 7. Okay. Any questions on those ones? Okay, let's do this one. And we do this one by elimination. Anytime you have like these double x squareds or double y squareds, you'll always notice that something should be able to eliminate if you multiply one of the equations by negative 1. Like you shouldn't have to do a lot. You just multiply one of them by negative 1. So if I multiply that bottom one by negative 1, I end up with negative 2x plus y squared minus 16x minus 8y minus 8 equals 0. And then if we add these together, those are going to cancel, those are going to cancel, those are going to cancel. So here, all three of those things cancel. 3x minus 16x is negative 13x. Negative 70 minus 8 is negative 78, and that equals 0. Add the 78 over, and you get negative 13x equals 78. Divide by that negative 13, and you get x equals negative 6. Now, it's not always that easy. There's a lot of times on this that you're going to end up having to factor. Okay, but there will be some times where you can just do that, and it will cross out easily. Now, once we get this, I have to plug it into either of our top two equations. It doesn't matter which one, and honestly, they look about the same, so whatever we do is fine. I'm just going to plug it into that bottom equation. So I'm going to plug negative 6 wherever the x is. So it's going to be right there and right there. Square this first, so that's going to be 2 times 36. Minus y squared plus 16 times negative 6 plus 8y plus 8. This is going to be the biggest mistake right here. Don't multiply this. Square it first and then multiply. Remember order of operations. And then just finish multiplying. So 2 times 36 is 72. Minus y squared. 16 times negative 6 is negative 96. Plus 8y plus 8 equals 0. 72 minus 96 plus 8, that's 16. We have a negative y squared and a positive 8y. I don't ever want this negative, so I'm just going to divide everything by negative 1. and you end up getting y squared minus 8y plus 16 equals 0. Factor this, use the x. So see what multiplies to be 16, adds to be negative 8. Well, it's negative 4 and negative 4. So if you set that equal to 0, y minus 4 equals 0. And we only have to do it one time since they're the same thing. It doesn't matter. So that means that y equals 4. So our only answer here is negative 6, positive 4. There is potential for 4 answers. Like you could get 4 answers here. We only got 1. You could get 4, you could get 3, 2, or 1. Okay. Let's do one more example. So this one, same thing, multiply either equation by negative 1. Doesn't matter. So I'm just going to multiply that top equation by negative 1. So that becomes negative x squared minus 2y squared plus 12x plus 8y minus 42 equals 0. So basically just switch all the signs in one of the equations. Then we can add these together. These are going to cancel. These are going to cancel. So we're going to be left with y squareds, which is good. So I'm left with negative 3y squared plus 12y minus 9 equals 0. Divide everything by negative 3. So we get y squared minus 4y plus 3 equals 0. I'm never going to make you factor something that has a number right here. So when there's a number right here, divide it out, always, okay? And then use the x, what multiplies to be 3, adds to be negative 4. Well, that's y minus 3 and y minus 1. So then we set y minus 3 equal to 0, y minus 1 equal to 0. So y equals positive 3 and y equals positive 1. Okay. Once we do this, so we're going to have to plug something in 2 times. We're going to have to plug in 3 and we're going to have to plug in 1. So we're going to get, we have potentially 2 answers, could be 4, depending what our factors come out to be. So if we look at the 2 equations we started with, doesn't matter which one we plug it into. Let's plug it into, that looks like the bottom equation. So I'm going to plug 3 in for my y's. Remember to square first. So that's going to be x squared minus 9 plus 12x plus 12, because 4 times 3 is 12, plus 33 equals 0, which is x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 0. Factor it. That's x minus 6 and x minus 6. So set that equal to 0, x minus 6 equals 0, which means x equals 6. So this is going to be 6, 3, because we plugged in 3 for that one. Let's do the same exact thing, but now let's plug in 1. So if we plug in 1, and it looks like I decided to use the top equation on this one. That's just to show you that you can use either equation. But here, x squared plus 2 times 1 squared plus 12x minus 8 times 1 plus 42 equals 0. Well, 1 squared is just 1, so 2 times 1 is just 2. So that's x squared plus 2 minus 12x. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 42 equals 0, which is x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 0. This is just a coincidence that this happened. Okay, it will happen sometimes. It doesn't always happen. So then we get x plus 6 and x plus 6. So that means that x must equal 6. So our other answer here is 6, 1. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. For the homework today, it's pretty simple. Let's see. It's more of just a worksheet. So if you go to here, oh yeah, that's all our music, but it's just an assignment. You get 3 tries on this, and you just have to solve these equations. Okay, remember any of them that don't have x squareds or y squareds in top and bottom, you use substitution. So all these first ones, use substitution. All these bottom ones, use elimination. Okay, and I put some 3 variable equations in there just to get you ready for the test because we're going to be testing next time. So I'll do a review tomorrow, depending, like if people show up, I'll obviously do it. If they don't, then I won't. But that will probably be at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. So yeah, if you have questions, you're welcome to stay on. If not, that's it. I'm going to stop recording this and then I'll post it in a little bit. You're welcome. You're welcome.